One of the many reasons that heel strike running is so injurious is that it's the only foot strike pattern in running that produces the specific kinds of impact forces that directly cause long bone fracture, namely a femur fracture. Multiple lines of research, which are all linked down below this video in the description box, use a specific model called the Shockwave Chronic Overload Model to show exactly how heel strike running causes long bone injuries. The model showed that heel strike running produces two forms of impacts that cause the long bones to overheat. They are a shock load and a propagated shock wave, which were found to directly cause chronic overloading that disrupts the balance between microdamage formation and its removal in the long bones. What's worse is that the model found that surprisingly low levels of the shock wave was enough to cause chronic overloading to exceed the capacity of the femur to resist loads. The good news is that it's very important to underscore that no such model exists in forefoot running because the shock load and the propagated shock wave are eliminated, as well as there's just less all-around impact levels, as well as less physical stressors in forefoot running, because forefoot strike running results in a contact with the ground that is so brief that some impact forces, along with abnormal motions of the foot, aren't even produced. But why can't a heel strike runner just wear thicker cushion running shoes for better impact protection? Or is there any way that a heel strike runner can heel strike safely by, say, adjusting other stride parameters like shortening their stride length, which means getting the foot to land closer to your center of mass, which is your hips? Well, the answer is no, because there are studies showing that the thicker the underfoot cushioning, the harder the foot actually plows down into the ground when running, thereby generating more downward force. And studies have indicated that there is no safe way to heel strike even if a heel strike runner were to adjust other stride parameters, because landing really far back on the foot still generates more impact than landing on the front of the foot. And the videos that I did on all of that are also linked down below this video in the description box. Bottom line is, the chronic overloading that causes long bone injuries is an unavoidable consequence of heel strike running. This means that one of the only ways to prevent a femur fracture in running is by avoiding heel striking and instead switch to forefoot striking. This is because when you land with a forefoot strike when running, there's a smoother placement of the foot on the ground because the joints that make up the front of the foot articulate better with the ground, and so the foot actually rolls more optimally with the ground rather than striking high up on the back of the heel, which produces a jolting force followed by the forefoot smacking onto the ground as the foot rolls heel to toe. This is why heel striking when running produces a very rigid and jerky movement path of the foot that involves a lot of wasted movement. Landing with a forefoot strike also naturally causes the knee to slightly bend at landing, of which this landing arrangement enables initial foot strike position to land closer to under the knee, as well as closer to under the center of mass, which is the hips. This reduces the time spent braking with the ground, whereby reduced braking prevents high compressive loads, which prevents chronic overloads, and is ultimately how forefoot running sustainably and optimally unstresses the long bones. This is also why when it comes to interventions that prevents running-related injury, forefoot running isn't just a suggestive component, it's a definitive component for doing a significantly better job at preventing injury, especially preventing severe injuries like long bone injuries as compared with heel strike running, for the reasons that researchers have determined over the past few decades that the specific impact force variables causing most running injuries are produced only in heel strike running and are either prevented or greatly reduced in forefoot running. But it's not just the long bones that are more safeguarded from injury in forefoot running. Forefoot strike running also reduces injuries to the knee, the lower back, as well as the hamstrings, of which my videos on that are also linked down below this video in the description box. Hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to hit the thumbs up button, as well as the subscribe button if you haven't already, where you will stay more informed on why forefoot running is safer and more efficient than heel strike running, as well as the importance of running barefoot, as well as the minimalist running shoes, because they can help you run better and race better in regular running shoes. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Have fun out there on the roads and trails. Bye for now.